Blerd's in the game.
All right. Welcome back to the Geek Set Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces, and this is 1-on-1 with Deuces, the place where I speak with creators, curators, and people that you should know. And right now, man, we got a super talented individual, somebody that like I've been seeing him in so many things that I love and roles, and he always is a shining star in these roles. But we're talking to the one and only Omar Benson Miller. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like a champ. I'm feeling at home.
Man,
Deuces in the Geek Pod. Let's do it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like I said, we give people their flowers while they're here, right? So there's a couple of roles that is just like it's always like the little small thing that stand out, right? So like when I first think about Omar Benson, I think about like Transformers, right? Like, you know, say even that small role in there, like but it was like that moment between you and Anthony Anderson, just even in there and everything like that. And then Ballers come out, and bro, Ballers, like I'm a big fan of Entourage. So you know what I'm saying? When Ballers came out, I said, yo, this is kind of like Entourage, but I'm like, yo, but like you getting Denzel's son, you got The Rock, you got London Brown. I was like, yo, this cast is ridiculous, and like the storylines, and so you know you start seeing everything as it goes, and I'm like, yo, Omar out here killing it. You know what I'm saying? You see in the range that you have. Of course, we got 8 Mile. Of course, we got Get Rich or Die Trying. But like when I was like, okay, I really need to talk to bro, is that like thinking about Black nerd culture, right? And thinking about the roles that you've taken, and thinking about you were in Transformers, you were voicing Finn in Star Wars Lego, and you are in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I said, bro, he is like hitting like nostalgic 90s in one. I was like, so I just want to say, man, from the Blerd community, from us to you, man, we definitely appreciate you lending your voice and your talent to these roles and bringing these things to life. And we just want to make sure that you know that you are appreciated and that everything that you are bringing to this industry is amazing, bro.
My man, Young Deuces. That might be the greatest intro I've ever received. I
Hey,
appreciate
man.
the love. And you know what's great for me is that I can tell you exactly when it happened. From November 8th, 2002, because that was the date 8 Mile came out.
Yeah.
From that day until now, there isn't a day that I go outside that somebody doesn't chunk the deuces and give me love.
Yeah.
And I tell you honestly, sometimes when you're having a rough day, it can really pick you up.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Now, is it weird that because of 8 Mile, people just randomly yell out 10 freaky girls
all over the world? Over the world, people will just yell out 10 freaky girls. It's a tricky thing.
What was the funniest moment that it happened where you're like, hey, this is not the setting for it, man?
Church. Somebody hit me when I was coming. I was heading into church, and somebody was like, "Oh, big dog, 10 freaky girls." I'm that. I was like, "Whoa, yo, chill, bro." That was. I'm getting my spirit game up right now. I'm working with JC right now, not Eminem.
But you know that's I always like that, like because you know you like when you do something so iconic, it becomes something that is like, all right, this is what people call like, you know, like Martin, you know, people always yell at him, what's up? Or, you know, stuff like that. It's always funny on what hits. And I remember watching 8 Mile before, like, you know, it became like the phenom that it was. But I just remember me and my friend group, like that was the inside joke. Like randomly somebody would just yell, and then we just get into it. And it was like, so it's like, when I was telling my cousin, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm about to have Omar Benson. And of course, that's the first thing he says because it's like, that's what we did. But I'm like, yo, this is hilarious. So yeah.
10 freaky girls. Yeah, man, that was fun. You'd be amazed because when you see the version that came out in the movie, my voice is rough with it. And that's because we did it so many times. Man, I don't think I could ever forget that verse. We did it, man, more than 100 times. in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the night in Detroit. It was brick out there, boy.
Yeah. Now your connection with hip hop is so dope because one of your first roles was given to you by E40, a whole West Coast legend.
My first role. First role, it was actually given to me by D-Shot because the movie's about his brother, the Shot Caller. Yeah. And so, but E40 and the Click, for those who know, it's a family business for them. And I played young E40, so I got to figure out what's Bubba Layton pimping. And it was great because I was they were making an independent movie, and I was in the Bay Area going to school at the time. And it's my first professional audition ever, and I got the gig. And I tell you, those guys set the tone in a lot of ways because they came out with a hip hop movie of their own, independently financed and distributed. Yeah. And it got a young buck like me started. And this matters, man, because I'm at the point in my career now where it's really time to mentor other people, to give back. I try to give advice to people when I see them on set, and even just people hit me on the gram or whatever and ask for advice. And I think about that because I was in college and I just stopped playing baseball and I was trying to figure out which way I was going to go with things. And I got into the theater, and them dudes, that family, they were making a movie, and they were making a movie with just so happens that E40 and the Click was big in LA, and they were big in my family. So I was well versed on how to do an E40 impersonation by the time I got the audition,
Well, E40 is one of those hip hop artists that his voice is so unique that everybody has an E40 impersonation.
And he's got so many rhymes. There's nobody who has more rhymes than him. He comes out, man, my man will come out with a triple album on you like it's nothing, and then come back with a double later on that summer. His volume is incredible.
He's also one of those people that you just want to hear talk because he has so much knowledge of the game.
Hall of Game. He's a Hall of Gamer.
So here's what I realized about you, because I do my research, and this is where I think you going into that mentor role is an amazing fit for you, is because you approach acting from educational standpoint. Like when I hear you speak about acting, it's not just I got to remember these lines, I'm having fun, but like you talk about the art behind movies and shows and a script so much that it was like I forgot that I was doing research. I'm just listening. I'm like, wait, I gotta write some of this down for these questions. But I'm like, that's so dope, because when you have somebody with that thought process, it's when somebody new is coming to ask you for advice, you're going to give them something that they're not going to get from somebody else. Now, also, I hear that from you in sports, boxing. So it's like that's just in you. It seems like you just like you like to deep dive into the stuff that you love.
No question. I'm a team guy first and foremost, and so with that, I grew up in a big family. And I was always able to see, because of how I grew up, how one individual affects the whole, positively and negatively. And that comes through your work, through your hobbies, the whole song and dance. Yeah. And so you look at this brother, rest in peace, man, brother Tyree Nichols that got killed by the cops. You see all these beautiful videos coming out of him now skateboarding, and how this is a real part of his personality. And I can't help but wonder how many people that's going to touch just seeing these tribute videos of him skating with his homeboys. Yeah. And opening that up. And I feel the same way about sports. Sports is metaphorically a way to represent society in a lot of ways. Yeah. And when you deal with acting, we're talking about the arts. And the artist's job is to reflect society and challenge society through their art. Yeah. And so it's hard to not deep dive on it if you really do some research on the history of these platforms. And you see the potential of it. You see people who transcend their art or transcend their sport. And it's a really privileged position that I've gotten to. So I don't take it lightly.
That resonates so much with me because, as I was talking to you beforehand, the reason why we started this whole podcast and this whole adventure was we wanted to show the world that Black folks love this type of stuff, right? That was our first mission, right? So when we first started the podcast, we literally just podcasting, just talking about being Black and loving anime, comic books, video games, movies, just all that stuff. But as we continue to go, we would have these type of conversations like I'm having with you. And I realized like, a nerd is not what the world try to portray it as. And I think that our mission now is to show that, because my whole theory is like, so just how you just said that about sports, I may tell you, all right, man, Muhammad Ali is my favorite boxer, but because you study it, you are going to tell me why Muhammad Ali is such a great boxer, not just because of, oh, he got the most, wins or whatever. You're going to talk about his technicality of it. So in a sense, you are a boxing nerd. There's
Oh
people
yeah, yes.
that can tell you about a beer. I'll be like, yo, this beer good. And they're like, but yo, that wheat is grown in this. I'm like, so you're a
Bro,
beer nerd.
I'm gonna tell you something. Yesterday, I had to get a property of mine treated for termites, and they didn't do the big tent. Follow me on this. It sounds like I'm
Okay.
going nowhere, but I promise it's not just a nasty story about termites. So they did a local treatment, meaning they treated where they specifically were.
Okay.
But the cats that came were so well versed about termites and treatments and chemicals and migration patterns and swarming and serving the queen and all of the whole song and dance, the wet wood versus dry wood versus subterranean versus all sorts of these different angles. I found myself fascinated and laced up by these dudes on something that I never knew I had any interest in. I never knew. One, I never knew about it, but two, I never knew that I would have an interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, one thing that about me is that I'm always interested in learning. I'm always grateful and I'm interested in learning. And the people that I know that are my elders that have maintained that posture, man, they never get old.
Yeah.
Because their mind is always expanding. They're always getting challenged to more information, more stuff, and it's really interesting. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and when we talk about just like your love of things and like how you map out, like, I'm saying, just how people generally map out their love of things. Because like, I know that for the longest you were saying that like before you actually got into voice acting, that was something that you was like, I'm trying to crack in. And I love your story.
I couldn't get in.
Yeah, I love that.
In,
like
man.
The fact that you got Ralph was due to you, voicing some commercials, and that like it was really a distress situation because you was about to get a parking ticket. So then you was like, okay, you like, wait a minute, hold up real quick. But then you got it, and just like how 8 Mile and things opened up, I feel like once you got the Ralph, like it started opening up because you started doing more animated roles. You started and again, because you're a lover and of the acting arts of it, I know that you didn't just say, okay, I'm just gonna go in and talk. Like you really started working on
how you gotta immerse yourself. Whatever you're doing, you gotta go all in. So this thing, that I was a part of, the lesson in all that story that you just told about my story is perseverance.
Yeah.
Because very few great things are easy. And very few of the right things are easy. All this stuff takes work, and whether that work is honing your craft or the actual work, or the perseverance that you need to endure a bunch of the no's and everything that goes like that.
Yeah.
Perseverance is the key there. Now, if you ask me, I'm a firm believer. You gotta reverse engineer success.
Ooh.
So you have to see where you want to be and then go from there and work backwards. And oftentimes that'll lead you down the path of what you want to do to get to the end point. And if you take that approach, you'll also find that along the way, you're exposed to and learn all sorts of things about yourself, about the world that you had no idea, that weren't a part of what you were looking to explore. And so for me, and Don't Sleep, by the way, maybe the best animated thing that I've been a part of is this fantastic miniseries on Netflix called Own.
I was gonna get into that. Yeah,
man, it is so creative, and I got blessed and got to play this role opposite of Craig Robinson and my man Dice that created it. If you stay with stuff, you'd be amazed where you can get. It's like the old folks say, one foot in front of the other. You got to get there eventually.
Well,
sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow.
Yeah, and what, like you bring up, like you said, working with Craig, like you've also got a chance to work with the phenom that is Cree Summers and Rugrats. Like,
oh man,
man. And like, you start seeing that, and that's what I love about your journey. Like you said that you're very particular on the roles that you picked. The roles that you have been picking, even in voice acting, have been like iconic. Like it's the Rugrats remake, but it's not necessarily a remake. It's like a continuation. Like you're like,
right.
and you get to play Susie's dad. It's like, yo, like, yeah,
Crazy.
like,
Ninja Turtles, Rugrats, man. If
yeah.
somebody, Star Wars, if somebody would have told me in 1990 that it was going to be like this, I'd be like, man, zoom me to that situation now.
Right.
Like teleport the kid. I'm looking for that.
Who was the first person? Because I know you said, you used to sing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid on the bus.
Yeah.
So who was the first person you told about when you got the role?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. Wow, I should know the answer to that because they called and told me, and I was blown away. I remember just being in awe. And I have a thing that I do whenever I get a job is I usually go do something in that field. Like if I get a movie role, I usually go see a movie when I find out that I got the role. Doesn't have to pertain to that. It's just an homage to the industry, that I get to be a part of. And when I got the Ninja Turtles role, I want to say the first person that I told was my brother, to be honest, because he beat me up plenty of times when I was trying to be a Ninja Turtle with fake nunchucks that were made out of clothes hangers and whatnot. So I think I might have told him first.
Yeah. And it's such a great character to portray because Ralph has always been my favorite because like I realized like I like the brawlers. I like the hardened guy. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
Raphael's definitely that. He's the meathead of the crew. Yeah. For sure.
But what I love about animation and why I like anime and why I love this version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because at first I was like, I don't know if I want this, right? But then seeing how they do the fights, those fights look ridiculous.
Oh man! Like, and the movie, not even because I'm a part of it, the movie was fantastic.
Oh no, it was. It was.
I really liked the movie, how it turned out. I'm hoping we get to do another one, or that they bring the series back. Because I think that opened up an exploration of a lot of what it is that we could accomplish.
Yeah, like I said, and so it's one of those things that I was like, yo, I do love. But wait, I want to bring it back to one thing because we talked about like you being in like these nerd things, right? And I talked about like one of the first things I remember you is just in Transformers. I wanted to ask you, when they tackled you in that pool, how many takes did y'all have to do for that?
You know what? I think we only did it once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't think they had that outfit a bunch of different copies. I think we might have did it twice.
That was a clean
once or twice. Yeah. Nah, they gave me some of that LAPD I didn't need. It was for sure. That was a very interesting summer because I actually was tabbed to play the role that Anthony Anderson played, but I did a television pilot, and it was the first time that I'd done a television pilot with a friend of mine, and there was a scheduling conflict, and the director, Michael Bay, still wanted me in the movie. So I ended up doing that role, which was a trip because it ended up being very popular with the Dance Revolution and breaking it down.
Well, I was going to say
running through the house and going through the sliding glass door and then the thing, it's a trip how people are.
With the Dance Revolution, was you just dancing or was you actually?
I was breaking it down.
You was because I mean we know you got moves because remember the 49ers, the 49ers was trying to get you. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. If I had $1 for every time I was recruited to play football, I'd be all right. I'd be sitting pretty. I wouldn't do podcasts and nothing else. Yeah.
That's such a wild story. That like I know, like I think one of your interviews you was talking about like you always thought in order to get in Hollywood, it's like one of those moments where like somebody see you in the mall, like, hey, I think you should
thought that's what it was.
But it's like
that's what it was.
Come to find out, that's how you get on the 49ers. Like, hey.
Yeah, you're going to date and dance. That was a crazy situation. Guy wanted me to come for the practice team.
Everybody has the stereotypical on what a black geek is. Are you familiar with the term blerd?
Blerd, no.
Right. Some people said it came off of Scrubs. Some people said it came off the internet. I don't honestly really know.
Don't you see the skin? The eyebrows, the hair.
Yo, white geeks still rock, you know what I'm saying, Dunks or Jordans or whatever.
Did I do that?
It's exciting. It's like, holy, oh, my dog is gonna start barking.
It's all right.
She's excited about it too.
And same as you said, like a barbershop talk, like we would go into really in-depth conversations about these theories and like, well, what if and how come?
It's not unusual to be loved.
Right, but we talk about anime, video games, comic books and stuff like that, but when you hear us talk about it, the passion sounds like we arguing Jordan and Bron.
Like, what do you mean? What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Like, it sounds like barbershop talk.
Because you don't know the history, don't mean it ain't happened, dog.
You broke that down right there.
But when you see the Black Geek, you don't see that. You see the socially awkward glasses. Well, this is me. And that's not a lot of us. A lot of us do sound and talk like us. You know what I'm saying?
Because it becomes stereotypical, as if that's where our strength comes from.
I don't know the geek that you talked about before. I know the geek you're talking about right now, though.
It was sort of a call sign so we could find each other on message boards.
Anime gives you life lessons throughout that whole thing. Like, there's not one anime that I know of that doesn't teach you to never give up.
It's just like, I just love seeing us go into the world and go into these different spaces and create things that weren't there before. And then it was like Miles Morales is like the normal, Black person in the United States.
That was my first Blerd moment, was seeing, Storm on the X-Men cartoon series. And I was like, wow, that's a Black woman and she's strong, she's powerful.
That's what I want for us. I want us to be that voice.
Now, congratulations is in order because you are nominated for the Outstanding Supporting Actor in Television, Movie, Limited Series, and a Dramatic Special. Man, how, I know, in our culture, we always think this is going to be the one, right? Yep. So during filming that, did you think that this was going to be the one that was going to get you nominated, or how did?
Well, no, I mean, this is what we're speaking about is the Apple TV series, Last Days of Ptolemy Great, stars Samuel Jackson, Dominique Fishback. It was one of my favorite things I have ever been involved with because I got to watch a master craftsman put it down. I got to watch Sam Jackson work and got to work right there with him and go toe to toe, and he let me shine. One thing that you'll learn about in this business is oftentimes the people that are the top dogs are not interested in you getting your shine if you're supposed to be there to support them. And it just speaks to the confidence and the accomplishments of Sam to play with me as a scene partner and treat me as a peer. And I'll never forget that. And I take that with me. Yeah. And I didn't know what it was going to be. I knew that I loved the book when I read it. I knew that I had great respect for Sam and Walter Mosley, who wrote the book. And I went out there and also the director directed a wonderful film called The White Tiger on Netflix that everybody can see. Yeah. And so for me, I just go into all of the projects the same way. I go in to do the work and be the best that I can be, because I've learned that when you cut corners or if you're doing it just for the money or something, man, they always catch you with your hand in the cookie jar. Always.
They do.
It never works out the right way. And this one, I went in on the humble, had a bunch of rehearsals, and just try to give an honest, authentic portrayal of a caretaker. And it opened up something and exposed something that we don't see often on camera, which is two adult Black men caring for each other, being vulnerable with each other. Because the character that I played was Reggie, who's taking care, he's become the last living link to the past for his demented uncle. He's suffering from a devastating case of dementia and Alzheimer's, and he goes to look after him and take care of him. And he's 93 years old, and it was something really special to me because I grew up running around with old people because my parents were very serious about checking in on old people, because it's less of our style as a culture to have our elderly go into homes and older services care. And usually they just at the house. And this is something that serviced me from my real life. And I tell you, man, I'm very, very proud of the NAACP for recognizing the show. Sam is nominated as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, you know, awards are a very tricky, slippery slope if you get caught up in, you know, looking for them or this, that, and chasing them. Ultimately, you do the work because it's the work and you want it to be the best, but you'd be very naive if you didn't see the slant of stuff that gets accoladed versus what doesn't.
Oh yeah.
And that's to the point where you have to have individualized shows. You have to have a African American award show.
That's what I was going to say.
Award show. It's not right.
I was glad that the NAACP definitely.
Me too. It means something special. Right. I really appreciate that.
That's to me. I was like, you know, and you know, I had to change my thought process on a couple of things because I was thinking, I'm like, all right, man, I hope they win, but I was like, you know what? Even the nomination is a big
it's the recognition.
You know what I'm saying?
So whoever it is that like even giving me the platform to speak about the show, if you haven't seen the show, you can find it on Apple TV and it's there. This show is timeless. This isn't something that needed to be seen right when it came out. You know what I mean? And so to help a show like this find its audience, sometimes you find with the arts, whether it's a movie, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a song, it finds its audience at different points. Some stuff comes out and, you know, finds its audience immediately. And like an 8 Mile. Some stuff is a slow burn. Like I have a lot of people who speak to me about another piece that I'm just super proud of, which is Miracle St. Anna.
Oh, yeah.
With Spike Lee war film. Yeah. And I have people come up to me like, man, I just saw this war movie you were in. Wow. It's like, oh, yeah, it was 15 years ago. So it's like, you know, it's interesting.
What I like about your movies in general too is how you can relate it to something that was changing within your life. Because you said about that movie how like you lost weight for that role for Spike.
I had to, yeah, you know? 70 pounds.
Yeah, and
70 pounds over a summer. That was ooh, man, that required a lot of discipline, and it ended up helping my real life. You know what I mean? It ended up helping me that film, and so I've really been blessed, man. I've really been blessed. The Lord has taken care of me to let me do stuff that is uplifting to people, also challenging to people, you know, and also properly representative.
Awesome. Yeah.
Because you have to do what you have to do when you're getting started and making your way. But I've been able to, by and large, avoid, you know, stuff that I would look back and be fully embarrassed by.
So I got 2 more segments and I'll get you out here. So we do this game called hypotheticals. Now, I was apprehensive about asking you this because I don't know how far about that interview I was looking, but you were saying how like zombie movies are getting a little bit too violent and stuff like that. But I'm gonna still ask you. I want to ask you. All right. So we have 3 different apocalypses. Which one do you believe that you would survive the longest? The robot apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, or the alien apocalypse?
Ooh. You know, I would like to think the zombie apocalypse.
You think
low key, because at least as per the rules of zombie movies, they seem to be the easiestly disposed of.
Well, so now this is the B question to it, because we base it off the apocalypse. So you're picking a zombie. All right. So there's 3 different type of zombies. You have your traditional Walking Dead zombies, right? That's your regular walking one. You have like your World War Z style zombies, the ones that
World War Z zombies were intense. They probably get me out of there because they're pretty fast.
And then you
have like the Usain Bolt of zombies.
Right. And then you have like your Resident Evil zombies where anything can be a zombie. It can be your dog, it can be a cat.
Oh, see, now y'all changed the rules on me. I wasn't aware of all the zombies.
Yeah. So now
I might have to rock with the aliens.
well, okay. Let's put it in categories. So your traditional Walking Dead zombies.
I'm gonna survive a while.
You're gonna survive a while,
yeah, because they walk, and I got good distance, I got good length, I can keep you off me. You know,
my only concern
about chop your heads off or whatever we got to do.
My only concern about any apocalypse is that like I feel like I can make fire, but I've never been in a situation where I had to make fire.
Where you're sure,
so I don't
where you can actually get some fresh running water. Yeah, right, because it would be really weak to end up getting ate up by a zombie because you ate some bad food or got some bad water and end up you had to take a dookie and then they get you because you was busy trying to man, that would be the worst because you got the bubble guts.
All right, so World War Z zombies, the ones that sprint at you, how long are you giving yourself?
Man, I mean, did it just break out or did I get it just broke out? It's all bad. So it's like 28 days later style.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm lasting long. I got to get to the car. So I don't know how long I'm going to last. Those zombies were really like, they were smart zombies, which kind of is a little bit, unfair.
Right.
Come on. Zombies got to have rules.
The one that I give myself a 0 shot in is the Resident Evil zombies, because anything can be a zombie.
No, come on. You can't stop a dog. How am I going to stop the dog? The dog, he can do it all. So
you know what's a good?
Just wrap it up. This is why you got to work on your salvation game,
right?
Because you got to make sure your spirit horse is right. Make sure that your salvation is up with JC, so you don't have to, you don't have to play.
Yeah.
You can just get your apocalypse on and keep it moving. Flip to the other side.
You know what? Here's a good thing to do next time you're around like one of your friend groups, right? Just
fight someone on the neck.
Wait.
Oh,
I ask another question. If you get bit, let's say your friend.
You got to tell. You got to tell.
You tell it.
You got to tell. I don't want to, man. I'm too big. I don't want to have to have somebody try to stop me as the zombie. I'm too big. Wrap me up. Go ahead, man. Give me one to the dome.
But no, what I was going to say, because like we go to these conventions a lot, right? And we'll do like live podcasting. So a lot of the things I like to do at live podcasting, I'll tell them, I'm like, all right, zombie apocalypse broke out now. So this is our group. This is our faction. And then I start asking, all right, so who knows how to do health stuff? Because I don't know how to treat a wound. Because like now you can gauge your survival. So next time you're in your friend group, start gauging it. Start saying, all right, if the zombie apocalypse broke out right now, this is our team, and we got to get to our safe haven. But now you got to start really figuring out, like, okay, so with the people that I'm around, what is our likelihood of survival? Because you need somebody who knows how to plant and harvest crops. You need somebody who knows how to treat wounds and be medical, but you also need somebody who knows how to hunt and stuff like that. So it's like next time you're in your friend group, do that and gauge your guys' level of survival.
And I challenge you, next time you guys think about that, think about the metaphor of the zombies, because the zombies are takers. Think about that metaphor for where we are in society now.
Ooh.
For people who are the zombies of real life.
Yeah.
The people who are morally corrupt, people who are just complete takers and vampires of life and energy and life force.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, in all of these arts, there's a lot of metaphoric activity going on, and you got to pay attention.
All right, so last segment, and then we'll get to wrapping up. I want to do a top 5 with you right now. Caveat: it can be in the moment, and it can be right now. It doesn't it doesn't have to be in order. But I want to know, with you being a lover of sports, what are your top 5 sports moments?
Oh wow! I mean, that's way too. That's way. Bro.
All right, let's condense it to
top. I mean, for right now, just recently, or you're talking about of all time?
It could be all time, but it doesn't have to be in order. Just if you had to think of 5 sports moments that was like, yo, this was mind blowing. What are 5 moments that you would think of?
Kirk Gibson hitting the bomb off of Dennis Eckersley, 88 Dodgers. Evander Holyfield beating Mike Tyson the first time, 96. I remember
my uncle was so mad at that.
Yeah, I wasn't, because we bet that it was gonna happen. I always felt like he had his number.
Yeah.
We got 5 sports moments. I would say, wow, we only got 5, huh? I tell you one that really people, it's not a big deal anymore. But I remember when Ben Johnson blew out Carl Lewis. Such a big deal. 979, and he ran a 9.7900, which Usain Bolt ended up destroying. Probably the Red Sox winning the World Series, which was a big surprise.
That was a big surprise.
That was really, especially when they came back from 3-1 against the Yankees. And wow, I got one more, huh? Ooh, man, this is tough. Wow, I don't know. Maybe Ricky Henderson breaking Lou Brock's stolen base record, because that was a big deal when I was a kid.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Really, really big deal, Rick.
Have you ever thought about doing sports broadcasting? Because you are really good when you talk about it.
I did. We had a sports podcast called The Ozone. We did it for like 5-6 years before everybody and their mama had a podcast.
I'm gonna have to go back and check it.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. It's me and my brother. It's an unfair and partial sports. And yeah, the archives are great. People hit me about it all the time.
Yep.
And so I just got too busy to do it because you have to be consistent. So now
Right,
we're trying to figure it out.
All right. So before we get out here, like I said, one of the big things that are coming up is you are playing Gib in the TV series remake of True Lies, man.
Yeah.
Like that is amazing, bro. Like that is
and super geeky. I'm all tech. You'll see. I said, and it's super geeky because I'm all tech in the show. I'm teched out.
Now, with remakes always being scrutinized and stuff like that, like what is your approach to something that's so delicate, like so cultly loved and everything? Like, how do you ensure that you do best to the source material?
I'm not, this is going to sound crazy, but I don't treat the things delicately. I think you really got to get into them and break them down and put your own seasoning, salt, and flavor on them. And that's how you get to the next level.
Yeah.
Me personally. And so what we did, and I got blessed because I actually got to work with the man that played the character in the original film. Tom Arnold came and did a piece with me, which was great.
Yeah.
And for me, I tried to capture and encapsulate that feeling that I had when I was a teenager, when I went and left the movie theater, when I was just like, wow, that movie was crazy. And the fun, the funny, the cool, this is what I wanted to be a part of. And this is what I hope we accomplish. You have to tell me once you watch the series.
Yeah, it was March 1st, right?
March 1st on CBS and Paramount Plus.
All right. Well, man, that is super dope, man. I'm excited for it. Like I said, you have our continuous support, man. We are huge fans, and we continue to rock out with you, man. So we're going to continue to catch what you're doing and everything. But for, people who I don't see how, but for my viewers and listeners who may have just discovered who you are, like, oh, that's him. Where can my people find you at, and what would you like them to support you on?
Well, you can go to Twitter at Omar Miller. You can go to Instagram at Omar Benson Miller. That's me. You'll see all sorts of stuff about me and about what I've been in and what I got coming up.
Awesome.
Or just go to the internet and type in my name. You'll see all sorts of stuff.
Right. Find everything. All right. Well, this has been One-on-One with Deuces. I've been your boy Deuces. This has been the amazing Omar Benson Miller, and we are out. Peace.